Okay, so you should have this half sheet in front of you real quick. One way to kind of remember what everything is just, I'm going to show you color-coded so that I know that not everybody has different colors of pins, but for corresponding angles, it's showing me right here what those are in the picture. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to circle those. Those are corresponding angles. They're on the same side of the transversal, okay? And they're on the same sides of the parallel lines. They're on top of them, okay? So on the next one, it's telling me alternate interior angles, 3 and 6. This is the one where if you do the Z, it's going to be on the inside of the Z, of the corners of the Z. Okay. Then we have alternate exterior angles, 1 and 8. So again, I'm going to circle 1 in a different color, and then 8. So those are going to be on opposite sides of the transversal and on the outside of the parallel lines. Okay? And then same side interior angles are going to be 3 and 5. So again, another color for these two. Interior means on the inside, so on the inside of the parallel lines is even labeled right here. And they are on the same side of the transversal. Okay? Alright, so once you have, if you want to label it, if you do have that labeled, that can go in onto page 21. But we're going to go ahead and look at this next one right here. Okay, so this again is just showing us another picture like we saw on the slides, okay? And we're going to go through and talk about each one, and then we're going to label on the picture too, so we can have that. Okay, so first thing is these lines right here are parallel, okay? Parallel lines, all right? And then that middle line is actually going to be the transversal in this picture, so it's a little bit different than the ones we've seen. The transversal is actually the horizontal line in this picture. Okay, so on here, this is how it's going to look when we're done. We're going to fold it over like this, and it's going to show us the different words that we just learned. Same side interior, same side exterior, alternate exterior, interior, and alternate exterior. And then on the inside, it's telling you the definition, okay? Also, notice here it says the word supplementary. What that means is that the two angles that are identified are always going to form that 180 degrees. Okay? And then over here, what it says is that those two angles are always going to be congruent. Okay? So those are some things that you do need to remember. Alright? So I'm going to go ahead and start answering the top questions here. On this picture, it's asking me which ones are same side interior. So again, those are going to be angles that are on the same side of the transversal and on the interior. Notice right here it says interior. Okay, so they're on the inside. So that's going to be 2 and 3, okay, because they're on the same side of the transversal and they're on the inside. Okay, so here we would put angle 2 and angle 3. And again, you can do it color-coded or however you want to do it to remember. And then we have also on the same side of the transversal and on the interior would be 6 and 7. Once we start doing these a lot more, we'll get better at them and start remembering the definitions better. Okay, the next word we have is same side exterior angles. Okay, so they're, again, same side of the transversal, but on the exterior. So over here, we see where it says exterior. That means that they're on the outside of the parallel lines. Okay, so we have 1 and 4, same side of the transversal on the outside. And then what else would we put there? 5 and 8. Very good. Okay, awesome. All right. Again, those angles listed are going to form a 180-degree line. Okay, so we have 2 and 3. Those two together would make a supplementary angle. 6 and 7, those two would make a supplementary angle. 1 and 4, 5 and 8, those are going to form 180 degrees when you put them together. Okay? Alright, so on the next one we have alternate interior angles. So again, we're looking at the interior, okay? But this time they're going to be on opposite sides of the transversal, okay? So that would be 2 and 7. They're on the inside and they're on opposite sides of the transversal. And then we also have what else? 6 and 3. Very good. Okay, so these angles are going to be congruent. Okay, so these two are going to be congruent. These two are going to be congruent. Okay, so remember that. Alright, and then we have alternate exterior angles, okay, on the outside. Exteriors are going to be out here, and they're going to be on opposite sides of the transversal. Okay, so that's going to be 1 and 8, and what else?
5 and 4.
5 and 4, very good. So angle 1, angle 8, angle 5, and angle 4. Okay, almost done, halfway through here. All right, moving down, moving down. All right, so at the bottom we have the word corresponding angles, okay? Corresponding angles have corresponding or same positions relative to the transversal, okay? So that would be 1 and 3, because they're on the same position on this transversal. Okay, and these are also going to be congruent angles. 1 and 3 would be congruent. Okay, angles 2 and 4, because they're in the same position. Okay, then we have what else? 5 and 7, they're in the same position on this transversal. Based on that information, what would be my last pair?
4 and 3.
We have 1 and 3, 2 and 4, 5 and 7. What are we missing? 6 and 8, yes. Okay? Again, those are all going to be congruent. If they're corresponding, they're congruent. Okay? We have vertical angles, which we've already talked about. Okay, we did that in the PowerPoint. Those are going to be angles that are across from each other. So what are going to be vertical angles in this picture? They're going to be across from each other. Example, 1 and 6. Okay, what else? 7 and 4, good. 3 and 8. Okay, one more.
5 and 2.
Good, 5 and 2. Okay, again, these are going to be congruent. They are the same measurement. All right? Okay, moving on, a linear pair. Remember, linear pairs form a supplementary angle, which I told y'all a while ago. So that's going to be, again, 180. All right? They're adjacent, okay? They're going to be side by side. All right? So we have example of that. There's actually a lot on here. 1 and 2. So I'm going to start writing up here because there's a lot. 1 and 2. What else?
3 and 4.
3 and 4. Okay. 5 and 6. I heard somebody say 5 and 6. Good. 7, 8. Okay. Now, those are all the ones going across horizontally. You can also look at them vertically. So what are we missing here? 1 and 5. Go down the line. What else? 2 and 6. 3, 7. 4 and 8. So you should have 8 of those linear pairs. Okay, last one, last thing here. Okay, there's some on here that where no relationship is formed between the two angles, but they're still supplementary. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just show you what those are. So an example of those would be angles 1 and 7. They're not interior, exterior, corresponding. None of those words would match. However, together they still make 180 degrees. So angle 1 and angle 7. Okay, another example of that would be angles 5 and 3. They don't have a relation, but they form 180 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. That's good for our notes. So the way you're going to do this is you're going to fold both of these up. Should look like that when you're done, okay? So the first page is going to be the half sheet we went over. The second page is going to be this one. If you want to cut these right here, like in between each word definition, that's fine. But right now, go ahead and just make sure you're gluing those in, okay?